What's up, manga fans? This is Rafael from C Manga, and I'm here to give you a review of this week's chapter of Bleach 572 The Blaster. I have to say, this was a very eerie, tense chapter this week. I enjoyed it, obviously, because it took a different approach this time. Kubo didn't follow, the typical pattern we saw before Rukia's fight, where it was like Shinigami destined to fight against a certain Sternritter. Then the Sternritter reveals their ability. The Shinigami uses their Shikai and beats them for a bit. Then the Sternritter is forced to use Volston's dig, and then Shinigami finishes off with Bankai. This didn't happen in this chapter. It took a different approach, and I was happy with that. It was quite unpredictable what happened in this chapter, other than the obvious prediction everyone was thinking with Kenpachi arriving at the end, which is great. Glad to see the guy again. But what I found very interesting and different was this new Sternritter kid that arrived with his weird ability, and the atmosphere and personality of him, which is very strange and eerie. And even though I was glad to see Kenpachi again, I actually had more interest in seeing this character. And I hope Kubo is going to delve into his ability more, rather than him getting one-shotted, because the whole manipulating imaginations and making them reality was very interesting, and the way he's utilized it in this chapter was just very, like I said, otherworldly. And his ruthlessness to Ganil, literally killing him without any remorse, was just shocking. Like, this guy is has no respect for his other fellow Sternritter. So I was just like, okay, this guy's a bit ruthless, and she's only a child. So yeah, as I said, Ganil didn't die until this guy arrived and killed him. Apparently he luckily survived by sliding back using Ryatsu, so Yuchiro didn't split him in half, only cut his face, and he basically gloats about the vanishing point, always saving him, until we see his torso is disappeared down to where his heart is. So this guy, this Sternritter guy, made it disappear without we even seeing him appear. And yeah, when we see him, he's actually in the shield where Rose and Kensei is, and those shields are obviously impenetrable, which shocks Isane. And yeah, he's just sitting there all calm, and he basically compliments Ganil on his, how well he's done so far, and his ability is amazing because it even made the child Sternritter basically lose or his memory of Ganil for an instant. So yeah, Ganil obviously is basically enraged, and he tries to kill him, but is blown into bits by this kid who says, your future, or basically whatever I imagined it to be, I can't imagine it now, and he just wipes him clean. So after that, we see Asane basically tries to get him to leave, Kensei and Rose's bedside. It's like telling them to get away from there. But he says not to worry if you're worried about them, because I've already killed them. And I was like, whoa, okay, he's killed 2 captains. And the reason why I was a bit more surprised this time, because I know Kubo usually trolls people, but Isane actually went over and checked, and she confirmed it, like they were dead. Checked their Ryatsu, pulse, whatever. Usually in Bleach, it's assumed, like with Byakuya, oh, his Ryatsu disappeared, but no one's nearby to actually check. This time we see an actual confirmation. So I was like, whoa, Kubo's being a bit daring. I mean, they probably will survive, but to see, that kind of straight up confirmation they're dead was quite impressive. So after this, we see Yuchiro trying to attack him, but she it misses because he dodges it quite easily, and she gets her wrist broken when she tries to attack him again, because literally just stops it like that. And he starts manipulating imagination, saying, oh, imagine your arm was like a cookie. And when she basically in her head, she apparently thinks, oh, it would break. And this is what he narrates. He's saying, you would imagine it would break, wouldn't you? And it's like, if you imagine your arm is like cookies, you're going to imagine the rest of your body is like cookies. So basically she's slumped and she's cracking, and this is when he starts giving us a bit of a insight into his power, when he says, imagination is the most powerful thing, and in this world I can make it become reality. And at this point we see Kenpachi obviously smashing in, saying that he sensed Yuchiru's Ryatsu lowering, and it's like, all I find is this little shit causing havoc or a ruckus. So yeah, that was the chapter for that. I definitely enjoyed it because of this new kid's ability. I think his ability might be exaggerated a bit in terms of what he's saying. I don't think it's as straightforward as he imagines something and then it appears. I think what he does is like he tricks the person into thinking it's happened. So I can imagine like Yuchuru's arm, he made her think it was like cookies, and then until they actually believe it's like cookies, then it would happen. So she started to believe this stuff would happen, and then the ability kicks in. The same with Isane. I think Rose and Kensei might have actually still been alive, so he said, oh, they're dead, and then she obviously developed the imagination in her head, so when she goes and confirms, the imagination becomes reality. So that's what I think the power is. It's basically making your opponent imagine something and then it becomes reality. I don't think he can do it himself. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it seems like that's how it works in this chapter, making your opponent imagine something and then that whatever you made them imagine becomes a reality. So yeah, Kenpachi, I can imagine this fight's going to be similar to Tosen, with him being blinded and deaf. He's going to somehow bypass it with his ignorance. Like, maybe he has no imagination, or he just doesn't believe him, or he, just ignores him. Maybe he'll reveal Hishikai or something, because now his Zanpakuto started speaking to him, as we saw, in the aftermath of the Unohana fight. Who knows, but I'm looking forward to see how he's going to deal with that. And maybe if when this kid dies, everything that's happened so far, the powers will reverse, so Kensei and Rose could come back to life and Yuchuru's arm will return to normal. I can imagine that's what will happen. So yeah, chapter was quite good. One little last bit I want to talk about is Yuchuru's Shikai was different in terms of what Sane is saying. It wasn't like with Unohana's, it doesn't transform into a living being. It's not like Hitsuga's in terms of it being living material, and the katana doesn't transform or manifest or become an embodiment of what the Bankai would look like. So it's a whole different Zanpakuto in itself. I can imagine it's probably it could be a Zanpakuto, that summons creatures from another dimension. So maybe she summons these two, this hollow like skeleton thing and the furry thing from another dimension, and that's what her Shikai power is. If it's not, then I'm wrong, but it's, as I said, just another theory. But yeah, that's all I can say about the chapter. I've given my predictions about the power of this Sternritter, how to expect the fight will end. I just think it's going to be General Kenpachi being ignorant, his straightforward nature. And yeah, bring it on. I can't wait to see. I just hope as I said before, we get some more info on this kid's power before he's killed off. So yeah, that's all I can say for today. You guys know the usual. If you enjoyed this chapter, have any predictions or opinions about this one and the next one, leave it in the comment box below. And also, if you're new to the channel and enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content on the channel, and I'll speak to you guys next week.